Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, a very popular chart analyst who closely follows XRP among, well, many other cryptocurrencies of choice, says that XRP is positioning itself for a massive pump, and he compared it to a cryptocurrency, which I will be highlighting in this video, that over the last 90 days increased by over 1,000%. Which, by the way, if that happens to XRP, you're looking at, if that same type of activity occurred, XRP would be over $5. And so he says that it's positioning itself at, what's the word he used? I think he said the word coil. It's coiling up like that. So I'll share with you all the specifics in here. And this amidst a backdrop of continued consolidation in terms of viewpoint. That's what it looks like to me anyway, from many very popular chart analysts who seem to think that it's much more likely than not Bitcoin has seen its bottom, at least for now, and that it's much more likely to burst upwards substantially before seeing a drop into the 30 to, low $40,000 range. Now, I do want to be clear that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say, all right? I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos purely as a hobby. And I did, they're about XRP and Ripple and cryptocurrency because that's what I'm interested in, but there is nothing special about me. Just want to be super duper transparent and clear so that nobody is tricked, because I very much do appreciate all of the support. As I record this, XRP is at 54.7 cents, Bitcoin's at $52,505, market cap for the asset class 1.64 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance down to 59.75%. And the Spark token IOU, by the way, at, what's it now, 92.8 cents. Let's take a look at what chart analyst Credible Crypto told his 139,700 followers all up on the Twitters here. And he wrote this just a few hours ago, actually. The bearish divergences that had me concerned a couple of weeks ago look to have played out. And he's talking about Bitcoin here because he's been very frank about this. He hasn't been certain in the direction that we're going to go. He's been saying that, yeah, it'd be really healthy if you did see a pullback for Bitcoin down to $38,000, $40,000 range, but he wasn't predicting that it would go up or down. There just wasn't sufficient data. So he was just analyzing certain metrics that he tracks. And he said, look, as soon as something changes, he's been saying it for days, as soon as something changes with my count, I'll let you know. And this is what's happening here. So again, the bearish divergences that had me concerned a couple of weeks ago look to have played out, giving us a nearly 20% drop from our highs down to $50,000. Now we are seeing hidden bullish divergences pop up on high time frame, right into that key low $50,000 region of high time frame support. I now lean bullish Bitcoin. Indeed. So that was fascinating to see. I was waiting to see when he felt like he'd have sufficient clarity on what was more likely to occur directionally, up or down. And he's not the only. I'll highlight a few others in this video that talked about Bitcoin, but they're the vast majority at this point. It's just the I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but the wisdom of the majority, effectively. They tend to think more likely than not Bitcoin will be heading north rather than having another leg down. It's a virtual certainty, it seems like, at this point. So we'll see what happens. And then there was this. Let's talk about XRP. And he compared XRP to HBAR, which is Hedera Hashgraph. Are you guys familiar with this particular cryptocurrency? Well, you're going to be in just a moment, if not. It's been tearing up the charts, and could be the case that it's got a long way to go before it hits its top for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the fact that this cryptocurrency, HBAR, Hedera Hashgraph, it did not exist during the last bull run, so it's never been through a bull cycle, which is exciting, especially when you consider things like, for instance, well, there are a lot of factors to consider, so this isn't a video about HBAR, but I'll just mention a couple. If you look at total supply, like that's certainly a factor, and how much is liquid, that's an important factor as well. So consider that XRP ran up to almost $4 last market cycle, early 2018, when it hit that. And the circulating supply, I mean, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of, you can go check because I don't remember exactly, but it was somewhere around like 37 billion. And you have to double check me on this too, because admittedly I'm pulling from memory, but for HBAR, although the supply will increase a bit, And that's just because, by the way, it hasn't been released all at once. I think there's going to be a finite supply ultimately. But for HBAR, I believe it's more like 7 billion. So you're looking at XRP ran to $4 with a total supply of 37 billion versus HBAR, current circulating supply anyway, of about 7 billion, I believe. And there are other factors to consider, such as how many exchanges how many exchanges is the particular cryptocurrency XRP and HBAR on. So you got to factor stuff like that in terms, and also how much is liquid. So it's not as simple as, oh, max supply. Well, it depends on how much is actually being functionally traded on exchanges and how many people have access to it. So I don't want to oversimplify it, but still, it's just interesting to note that a cryptocurrency like this one has been tearing up the charts lately, and it's got all sorts of legitimate backings. But again, this is not about HBAR. I just wanted to, for those of you not familiar, I just wanted to say at least a few things about it so you can see why Credible Crypto might be comparing these two, and it's interesting. And so he wrote the following: XRP coiling up on the chart like an HBAR-barian. And so that's what I keep seeing people call just like, there's the XRP community, or some call it the XRP army, and for Link community it's the Link Marines, and for HBAR it's the HBAR-barians, which I think is clever. In fact, I saw somebody, there's a name that made me laugh, I think it was on Twitter. I think his name was like Coinman the H-Barbarian. It's a play on Conan the Barbarian. It got a couple chuckles out of me. But anyway, so XRP coiling up on the chart like an H-Barbarian. Ripple putting pressure on the SEC in the lawsuit. And some very valid reasons as to why XRP should and could be relisted by major US exchanges. A massive pump is on the horizon. I hope you're prepared to be a part of it. And so if you look at Hedera Hashgraph, I just look back to the last 90 days. So how far back is that? So December 26th, it was at 3.2 cents. 3.2 cents HBAR, and now it's at 31.9 cents. And that's not the highest it got to. So you can look over the last 90 days, yeah, it's up 894%, but it was up over 1,000%, because you can see here on March 14th, it was actually up to 45.8%, and then it had a notable retracement because this is crypto after all. Nothing goes up in a straight line forever, and it's settling back down. May go a little bit lower, who knows, we'll see. But that's a massive pump in 90 days. And so, by the way, and this is what's fascinating also, and I'll show up about HBAR after this because that's not the purpose of this. It's just, I'm just bringing it up because he mentioned it and he's comparing XRP to it, and it is a fun comparison. Because again, like I said, if XRP behaves like this, you're talking about 1,000% increase. It's going to be over $5, right? But Credible Crypto does predict that HBAR itself, this market cycle, based on a number of metrics, which I won't get into this video because that's outside the scope of what I want to talk about. He predicts that it's going to go anywhere from $2 to $5, which is fascinating. So given that it's never been in a bull run, it's tougher to know, which makes it a little bit more risky, I suppose. But XRP, along with other major, just large cap coins, whether you're talking about Bitcoin Cash or EOS or Dash or Zcash or Ethereum Classic, which is the most trustworthy blockchain on the planet, obviously. A little bit of sarcasm there. But, look at all these, and they're all like eightfold away from their, more or less, from their all-time highs. I don't think that they're going to stop there. So it's just the whole market moving in tandem. HBAR is part of the the market, of course. So it's going to move in tandem as well. It just makes you think, if it's already here before the true parabolic stuff has happened, it makes you wonder to what degree Credible Crypto is right. Because what if he is right? $2 to $5. And what if and he also says for XRP, mind you, bare minimum $10 for XRP this market cycle, more like $20 to $30 XRP. That's what Credible Crypto is expecting. So we shall see. Now, Il Capo, who is another popular chart analyst, he's got 66,500 followers all up on the Twitter, said, and this is this morning, mind you, funny thing is that we are testing $50,000 of support. Think about it. And he's talking about Bitcoin there, of course. And then just a little bit after that, he wrote, the bounce will be epic. Bull market is not over. Remember these words. And so I think that's certainly true. I don't think that we're anywhere near that. We haven't seen the altcoin euphoria, which has been a trademark characteristic of every crypto bull cycle since the inception of the crypto asset class, right? So I don't think this is going to be the first time that does not happen, because people are they're not investing based on fundamentals. That much is clear. The vast majority are not. Maybe you are, but and I have historically anyway. I'm currently, I don't care, in the short term. But it's like people are not investing based on that. And so, and obviously, and again, and I've said this before too, like obviously fundamentals, like utility matters and will win the day. Ultimately, it's just we're still in this mania phase. But yeah, the bull market's certainly not over, because these people that have made money on Bitcoin, especially the types that bought around 3, 4, 5, 6,000, whatever, if you bought it, imagine if you bought it a year ago. They're selling, but they're not done. They want to put it into other coins that haven't pumped yet. And this is what happens. They go into large cap coins, then mid cap coins, and then small cap coins. And there will be outliers that'll pump outside of that exact cycle. But in a general sense, that's what this all looks like. And we haven't had that happen yet. These people are not done trying to make money off of the idiot retail speculators. That's effectively what they're doing. It's just the stupid money. And I don't say that to be offensive to anybody. It's just they're behaving irrationally and stupid. STOOPID, stupid, right? Then you've got chart analyst Michael Vandepop, who told us 168,000 followers all up on the Twitters. Quote, I think we're very close to the bottom for the markets, and I've positioned myself well. Hashtag HODL. And he tweeted that out this afternoon. And then a little bit later, he wrote the following. Basically, support reached for Bitcoin. Holding here would justify continuation towards $68,000, losing $49,500 to $51,000 area, and I'm looking at $42,000 to $43,000 next. So basically, it's what most analysts I keep seeing. They're saying more or less the same thing. If we hold $50,000, Bitcoin holds $50,000. Then you're going to see upward movement. If it goes below that, more like 42 to 43,000. So that's what we've been waiting. And I keep seeing more and more analysts, specifically today, cite more or less the same thing. And I don't think that they're all just copying each other. I mean, they could be. Maybe the bad ones are. I'm not sure. But the ones with the biggest followings, I think that there's a reason that, by and large, that a lot of them do have the followings that they have. And then there's my fellow XRP YouTuber, Blockchain Backer, who tweeted out the following. And by the way, I listened to his video earlier today, and it seemed to me, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it seemed to me the way that he was talking, I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but it seemed to me that he also was thinking that it may be more likely than not that Bitcoin's going to head upward rather than downward, though he didn't make a prediction. But it just kind of how I took it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I took it after listening to his video. But he wrote the following. There are many theoretical price targets for Bitcoin. $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $1 million. But I always get drawn back to this, $68,000 to $82,000. And that is the range that he's been talking about. Usually he words it more like 70 to 80, but whatever. We're splitting hairs here. It's the same thing. He writes, it's also a 4.236 Fibonacci extension of the 2017 bull market. And so he does still think, despite these huge predictions, that's what's more likely. And you did see people, when Bitcoin hit its top near $20,000 last market cycle, there were all sorts of very famous people with reputations, and that who weren't necessarily chart analysts, saying that, oh yeah, absolutely, Bitcoin's going to go much higher in the coming months. You're going to be seeing Bitcoin at $50,000, and it didn't do that. It tanked down to $3,000 over a period of time. In about a year, it took about a year, but it went from almost $20,000 to $3,200 or somewhere thereabout. So the people that there will be people understand this cycle that will be endlessly calling for it to go higher. They will be predicting it, and they won't all be chart analysts. And at some point, it's going to be clear that they're wrong. Like, they can get away with it in the short term because the analysts that know what they're doing, that know what they're talking about, are more likely to be right than wrong. They'll continue to call that, and then maybe they'll stop at some point. And then the other famous people that have big followings that are just hyping it, they're going to keep calling for it to go up, and they're going to be wrong. And it's just interesting because it's not like these people called for that last market cycle and they lost their followers. They didn't. I've got some people in mind. I'm not going to call them out in this video, but I have some individuals just in crypto in general. I'm not talking about XRP here even, that were calling Bitcoin to go higher. Did not happen. So you just got to be careful out there. That's why I say you got to do your own research, make your own decisions, and not rely on internet people, or famous people. Like, just you got to decide for yourself. Which is why, to me, looking historically at what happens for me, that's been a big factor in what has helped me determine what I think makes sense for me. Chart analyst Josh Rager is talking about Bitcoin here, told his 122,000 followers that, quote, people worried about the current Bitcoin pullback like it's the end of the market. And this was this morning, mind you. In reality, price has only pulled back 18% from local highs. The last two pullbacks were 31% and 26%. zoom out, price continues to put in higher lows slash highs, it's going to be okay. And so he also thinks that Bitcoin is going to continue to climb higher. And then chart analyst Plan B, who has a massive following, 342,000 followers, he just shared this. And this was earlier today, fine, but still, look at this. He just wrote, when in doubt, zoom out, which is actually a message that I deliver because some people don't get it. Some people think that the market doesn't move in tandem. And in this case, he's just talking about Bitcoin. But big picture, this is a chart dating back to Bitcoin's inception, basically. And you can see what it's doing, and there's no indication it's going to stop because people value it. Rightly or wrongly, people value it. Not everybody on the planet does, obviously. Well, then the price would be much higher anyway. But people do value it, and if for no other reason, just because it was the first cryptocurrency ever to exist, and standards matter. I get that. People have determined that Bitcoin is a market winner. We'll see if that ever changes, but standards matter, and it's just going to keep climbing. So you have to have, maybe like a longer term outlook. If you really want to make substantial money from Bitcoin. And it's still a question mark as to how high it will ever go. But there's more money in it now, so it's harder to get that multiplier effect in terms of asymmetrical gains relative to other asset classes. Still, I think there's opportunity, but to me, the real money at this point in the market cycle, it's in altcoins. Because especially if Bitcoin, our blockchain backer rather, is correct, what if Bitcoin gets up to 82,000 and that's the high for the cycle? Well, it's already done most of its climb then. You're not even going to get like a twofold increase from here. So if that's the case, and there's no way to know for sure, but if he's correct, well, what about all these other altcoins that need an eightfold increase just to get back to their all-time highs? And do you think they'll stop there? And so for me, that's why I've been purchasing other altcoins. I have no interest in purchasing Bitcoin at these prices, but people that are new to the market and don't know what the hell they're doing, I think they will purchase Bitcoin. I'm counting on it, in fact. I know they will. Well, as I say, I know. I'm confident that they will based on previous human activity and charts within this asset class. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. Thank you for stopping by, my friends. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.